This entire video will be narrated, and images will be described. Please watch the original casting call plus hiring video for Just Little Things before watching this one. Hello, thank you for taking a peek at this. Here are the instructions to audition to voice a character for Just Little Things. Contact me, POTATEMOTATE, potatemotate, on Discord or Tumblr, or email me at potatemotate@gmail.com, specifying you want to audition as a voice actor for Just Little Things. I will be looking at your public social media accounts to verify you meet the qualifications and you're not a troll. I will ask for a social media account if you email me, and I'll ask for your age if I cannot find one. Then you'll tell me what character you're auditioning for, if you want a specific one, and I'll give you some lines from that character to voice. If you won't audition for a specific character, just tell me some things about your voice, such as your range and what you're good at, and I'll pick some lines for you. I won't get back to you immediately, but when I do, you'll be set to send a formal audition. You don't have to match everything about the character to audition for them, especially not the age, but keep in mind I will be aiming to cast people who are in the same oppressed groups as the characters. Please send audio in MP3 format. You will need to be able to record with minimal background noise, preferably only white noise at most, so no interruptions from other sounds like children screaming, I don't know. You can also send examples of what you voiced before. The audition recording should begin with you stating your name and the character you are auditioning for, if you want a specific character. Otherwise, you can just say you're auditioning for Just Little Things. You can say extra stuff if you want, but you don't need to do anything more than read the lines the character has. It is encouraged that you read the lines out loud several times over, trying out different voices and executions. Go ahead and experiment. It's also okay if you don't perfectly follow the descriptions provided for the characters' voices. Don't edit, trim, or cut your audio, even if you make mistakes or have an embarrassing take. If you are singing, you can either include yourself singing in the same recording or in a different one. It doesn't matter. It is preferred you provide a recent example of yourself singing, less than a few months old. It's okay if music plays in your recording, just make sure you will be able to sing lines later on without this. Please, be open to being rejected or getting offered another character. Keep in mind, this video only has the important Act 1 characters, so there are many chances to get a smaller role, or a bigger role for Acts 2 and 3 in, hopefully less than 50 years. No guarantee on a time frame here, since there's no technical deadline to audition. Rest assured, I will answer any questions you have about being accepted. Now, let's get to all the important characters that don't have voices yet. Ziplocky. In the image, Ziplocky, who is a Ziploc bag, is full of stuff and is squinting with mistrust in a defensive stance with their fists raised. They/it pronouns, 19 years old, DID system, and non-binary. They have a major singing role and their vocal range is alto. Ziplocky has an unintentional, extreme variance in how they talk. They have a slightly feminine voice that is consistently raspy, though you can forego this raspiness when they sing. They often slur their speech, or at the very least talk loosely and sleepishly. They do not have the perfect pronunciation of certain consonants either, like S. Notepad. Notepad is holding her right hand up to her face, smugly smirking, whilst pointing her white cane upwards with her other hand. She/they pronouns, 35 years old, blind, and a wheelchair user. She has a major singing role, and her vocal range is soprano. Notepad has a surprisingly light and gentle voice, though it also sounds tired and frequently cracks. She speaks relatively formally, almost pleasantly so. She can be sassy and passive-aggressive a lot of the time, and she can perform this in her voice subtly but effectively at the same time. She generally talks a bit slowly, with a tendency to linger on vowels when she wants to be expressive. You can tell she sounds older than some others. Sewy. She's a tall sewing needle with a hexagonal quote-unquote head for a needle eye, and she wears a purple grip around her quote-unquote chest. In the image, she is walking snobbishly to the right with her arms crossed against her body. She/her pronouns, 25 years old. She has narcissistic personality disorder, and she is a trans woman. She has a major singing role, and her vocal range is countertenor. Zoe has a quick, very straight-laced and serious voice, talking like a no-nonsense business person. In public, she will often sound more reserved, deeper, and stoic, but in a private setting, she will be more theatrical, and her volume and intonation will vary widely. She will especially rely on extreme volume emphasis on certain words. Bubble blower. They are a vividly yellow bottle of bubble solution. In the image, they appear unimpressed, with their arms straight down and their palms facing the ground. They have quote-unquote hair locks, consisting of drooping streams of reflective bubble solution, dripping down from their cap. They, them pronouns, 25 years old, black and non-binary. They have a major singing role, and their vocal range is bass. Bubble blower has a deep, though young, masculine voice, and a laid-back, slow way of speaking. They can be rambly, use a simple vocabulary, and don't have much energy in their rambling. Sometimes, though they aren't energetic, they can sound light-hearted and like they're having fun. Paint bomb. She's a literal paint bomb with a large wavy fuse and streaks of paint on her head. In the image, she daintily holds her hands together by her cheek. She appears to be walking as well. She, they pronouns, 23 years old, black and trans femme. She has a minor singing role and her vocal range is alto. Paint bomb is an excitable girly girl, and this is reflected in her voice, but she isn't overly hyper or even super loud. Her voice has oomph to it when she wants it to, and she is always clear-spoken. She aspires to be an actor, so she can likely play off quite a few voices when she wants to. Djembe. He is a djembe drum wearing shorts. In the image, he is explaining something matter-of-factly, with his left hand in a lectury, palm-up position. He, they pronouns, 24 years old and black. They have a minor singing role, and their vocal range is tenor. Djembe has a very, actually nerdy voice mixed with vigorous, almost staccato-y enunciation, similar to, say, Golf Ball from Battle for Dream Island. Despite this, he speaks very quietly and hardly raises his voice, nor is he too wordy and pretentious. He is also a fast talker. Mirrory. She is a bright magenta handheld mirror with considerable smudging on her lens and white boots. She is crouching down and showing her teeth in a very nervous frown. She, they pronouns, 19 years old. She does not sing. Mirrory is a very nervous, voice-cracking speaker. She'll stumble over her words quite a lot, and her voice isn't that high-pitched, but she is frequently speaking in the higher part of her range. She also has a British accent. Magnifying glass. He is an angled, deep blue magnifying glass with a black handle that has 2 white stripes on it. In the image, he appears to run to the left as he points his finger upwards and towards the viewer in an accusatory manner. He, him pronouns, 16 years old, queer cis girl. He does not sing. Magnifying glass's voice is loud and tomboyish with a growly quality. He often sounds irritated, impatient, and condescending. He sounds almost as if he's talking with his teeth constantly gritted, and he can come off as snobbish. He's young-sounding compared to the adult characters. His consonants are emphasized. Windowy. She is a stained glass church window featuring a rose. In the image, she is down on one knee, appearing as though she is trying to wow or please someone and gesturing with jazz hands. She, her pronouns, 32 years old. She has a major singing role and her vocal range is mezzo. Windowy has a giggly, slightly southern United States sounding voice. Despite being loud and pronounced, she is reserved in her speech. She has a feminine voice that has weight to it, but she will stay within the upper part of her range with little pitch fluctuation. She also sometimes sounds as if her words were scripted ahead of time. She often pauses for a second before she answers. Ice cream. She is a glass cup of excessively decorated vanilla ice cream. In the image, she takes a ta-da pose which attempts to impress. Her knees are bent, though she is still standing, and her arms are stretched out to the sides with jazz hands. She, her pronouns, 28 years old. She has a major singing role and her vocal range is soprano. Ice cream has a soft and sweet, high-pitched, very feminine voice. Though she has some energy and excitability, her voice is most dominated by sounding whispery with little fluctuation in her pitch. Her speech is very polite and sanitized. Telegraph. He is a worn gray and gold telegraph with a piece broken off, and he wears a deep purple bow tie and giant white gloves. In the image, he smirks to the right, one hand charismatically pointing in the same direction and the other resting on his quote-unquote hip. He, him pronouns, 40 years old. He does not sing. Telegraph has an audibly older, somewhat deep masculine voice. As a former show host, he is quick to snap into a charismatic, quippy, peppy sound, not too different from the voice you'd hear on a radio show. He can sound snide and dismissive as well, but he never loses his talk show flow. Pocketer. He is a warm gold, armless denim pants pocket. In the image, he is sitting on the ground, slightly bent forward with his legs apart. His expression is vague, but includes disinterest. He, they pronouns, 34 years old, Native American. He does not sing. Pocketer has a very heavy and obtuse voice, though it's not too deep. His voice is quite smooth, but not graceful. He gives the energy of someone who doesn't willingly hold small talk, and avoids speaking unless spoken to. His intonation is fairly stoic and doesn't always fit what he's saying. Fishing rod. He is a worn and rusted fishing rod with orange spool. In the image, he kneels on the ground. His hands rest on his knees, and in some sense of honor, he faces upwards with his eyes closed. The spool guides and tip are very angular, and he has arm and leg hair with a similar color to his spool. He, him pronouns, 52 years old. He does sing, but not in Act 1. His vocal range is baritone. Fishing rod needs to sound considerably older than the rest of the cast, though this shouldn't be exaggerated. He has a tenorish voice that is ever so slightly higher pitched than average. He usually talks with light enthusiasm, but he can quickly shift to a moody and rude tone. Thanks for watching!